Hardcore Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 417. It is our last random week before theme week, which is alternative cut weeks. Totally gets dropped on us. Looking forward to that. So in this random week, man, I've decided to dip into some unfamiliar Italian waters, man, with Sergio Martino and The Case of the Scorpion's Tail from 1971. From Arrow release, fantastic release. The extras are out of this world, including Gastaldi's commentary. He is the writer who in much way is to Martino, which Sacchetti is to Fulci. So, I mean, I've been kind of learning and soaking some things up, but a lot of other extras, a wonderful book in there as well, which first essay, yeah, I knew I'd forget her name, Rachel's her first name, can't remember her last name, but fantastic little piece of an essay just highlighting the film and why. Basically, the idea is, this movie is kind of looked at, I guess, as one of Sergio's minor films, and where others are much more, you know, you got the Edwidge Finesse trilogy, right? Your Vice is a locked room and only I got the key, I think it is. And there's like, golly, there's two others. They run together pretty quick like. And then, of course, towards the end, he's got Torso. He's got a lot of freaking just fantastic movies. And I'm going off of the word of others, which I trust. But I've never really dipped into Martino, and so this is the first one. Compliments of Dave Lewin and this beautiful Arrow release. Again, it basically, let me just set the stage, and then I'm just going to kind of cut it and then roll right into spoilers. And I'm going to let you know, because this is a tough movie, man, to talk about without at least talking about spoilers a little bit. Basically, you've got this married couple, right? Much older guy, younger girl, Lisa. She's carrying on in London in an adulterous affair while her husband is flying to Athens on a business trip where he does much of his work in Athens. And right at the beginning of the film, the stage is set with his plane that he's on will explode, which, man, yeah, that special effects little... It's interesting. I'll talk about that a little bit later, I think. But the plane explodes, he dies. She gets a call in the middle of the night that basically he's gone, and she needs to basically collect on $1 million that has been left to her. But she needs to travel to Athens to do so. Little does she know, there are others who are keen on getting their hands on this money. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It is a giallo. It is airtight, man. Gastaldi's writing is just... I watched it twice, and I'll just be serious, man. I had a hard time getting past. For me, there were two options, man. It was either A or B. B was really super implausible to me, but boy, it would have been fun if done right. And then A, which I kind of felt like it was going, but it was like, boy, if this is it, I can't wait to see the review, because, man, this is going to be fun. This movie's got a little bit of everything, man. It's got, man, shot on location in Athens is absolutely freaking gorgeous. The movie basically, even by the very end, man, takes us to this incredible climax that's shot in the Greek Isles, and it is absolutely beautiful. We got scuba diving, we've got treasure being, buried. We got, it's just fun, man. It's a fun freaking movie. And it's freaking, again, the story's airtight, man. I'm so new to Martino. I can't wait to really get into the rest of his films. And I think this was a great one to step into first. Knowing what I know about Argento and Fulci and others, where Argento seems to, loves to bring in this supernatural quality aspect. Martino's much more practical in the sense that stuff's kind of left out, more rational, and it's awesome. And this movie's interesting because it's got would end up being four real big. I mean, you got five main characters here. Of course, you got the wife, you got the husband who perishes in the plane crash. You've got the inspector on the ground in Athens who's investigating this disaster. Right, and because, just to be honest, and this isn't really giving anything away, all eyes are on Lisa, the wife. They know she's been carrying on an adulterous affair, and they believe that maybe there's something foul about this, right? She's done something to get her hands on this money. So really everyone's sort of keyed on her. So you got the inspector on the ground, you got an Interpol guy, which is pretty cool. He's sort of your outside eyes looking in. You've got Peter Lynch, played by George Hilton. Man, it's fantastic. He is your health or life insurance inspector, right, on the case. Because, you know, the company doesn't want to shell out the millions, so they want some dirt on her, and they want to get their money back and not lose it if all possible. Then you got Cleo, who were introduced somewhat in. She's a photojournalist, and so you got really, outside of the wife and the husband, who are, of course, at the core of the story, you've got these 4 other people who are all investigative roles, which is really neat. And so it does offer up some really interesting things. The murder set pieces are fantastic, man. There's a 2-for-1 where there's a mistress of the husband who wants her hands, Laura, who wants her hands on that money. And she's got this henchman named Sharif, who's sort of this lawyer, but he's more of just a henchman type guy. There's a 2-for-1 kill, man, where it's so insane. She's in her apartment. Laura's in her apartment, and she suspects someone is hanging out or trying to get in, and then eventually it's confirmed, and the door starts to look like someone's trying to get in, and there's this insane slow-mo sort of, she's running towards the door, trying to get the lock, the big bar lock in place to keep, but the killer just keeps trying to pound their way in, shall we say. And this ultimately ends up in a spectacular death scene, which her henchman happens to be outside waiting. He tries to arrive in time to be of help because she calls out in desperation to him, and then ultimately he falls prey in the spectacular fall from the high top roof, which is spectacular, and an incredible stunt. So I mean, it's got, man, some of the kills are freaking fantastic, blood spray on the walls, just, I mean, you just get the idea that this, boy, the killer meets business, man. It's pretty awesome. So, I mean, basically, in a nutshell, there it is. Okay, spoilers, all right? You don't want to know who the killer is? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I feel funny even doing this, man. I hope you're not listening or you don't care or whatever, but we find out that, and this is, you know, my toss-up is it Peter Lynch, the investigator for the life insurance company, or is it the husband who maybe didn't really die? But if it is Peter Lynch, how does that work? Because there are times when he's in certain places and things are happening, and especially one key moment where there's an attack on Cleo, and he obviously didn't do it because he rushes in to save the day. You know what? It's kind of got a Scream moment vibe there. We'll never know just how influential these Italian films really were, I guess. And so, you know, well then, what's going on? Well, we find out towards the end where him and Cleo, of course, he falls in love with Cleo, wants to take her away with him because he's got the mill stashed away in a beautiful spot underneath the ocean, which is just a spectacular underwater scene filmed. And as you head towards the end climax, and you find out, man, you know, he's had an accomplice, you know, who I believe it is Lisa, the wife's boyfriend that we meet at the very beginning. I do believe he's the accomplice. But Peter, man, he don't care, man. He takes out the accomplice. He takes out anyone and everyone, man, in his pathway, or the accomplice. We find out the accomplice is actually one who blew up the plane. So, I mean, it's pretty spectacular stuff going on, but it's airtight in the way that you really don't know who the killer is. And it's so much more fun when you do know, to go back and revisit and see his motives play out across, because we find out he's just not content. He's not happy, man. He's tired of working for an insurance company where he's got to reclaim millions and millions of dollars for them, and he gets a fraction of it in his pay, and he's just not happy with it. So he, you know, this is his moment to basically, in a spectacular fashion, grab his hands on some major dough and go off into the sunset and be happy. He believes to be happy. Of course, you know, the carpet will be pulled out from under his feet towards the end. He does make one mistake. I won't say what it is. I'll just leave that off. But he does make one mistake, which you find the Interpol guy. He's the one, although he says some, I don't know, some questionable things. He is the one you think really does kind of have an idea, or he has some serious ideas that it's Peter, but he's got to prove it. And thankfully, when Peter does make a mistake, the Interpol guy is there to pick it up and cash in on it. And so it ends up being, man, a spectacular shootout in the end. Well, I should say shootout. It's sort of one-sided, but it is spectacular, man. The movie, it just got a lot of little pieces, a lot of things, and I really freaking enjoy this, man. Definitely more viewings of this in the future. It's fun, man. It is a lot of fun. Even if you know who it is, you can just watch their character full. The set pieces, again, the cinematography, a lot of low-angle shots, which does a lot to emphasize the characters. I can't remember if I said this or not, but he does kind of feel like, I've heard it said that he's sort of like the Michael Mann of Italian cinema. It does feel like that, man. It does feel, it's pretty cool. A lot of subtext going on underneath too. Some things that he is just throwing out for discussion, which is pretty cool, about class. Those who are, not as rich as others, and those who are rich, who are careless and don't care, not happy. Just a lot of stuff going on here, man. It's pretty cool. I'm just so thankful to David Lewin that he included this in the box, man, because I got a lot of more Martino stuff to get my hands on now that I've really been exposed. So I hope I said something interesting. This has been actually it's been a fun review. It's been an awesome freaking movie. If you've never seen it, it's so worth seeing it. Or revisiting. I mean, and if you don't have the Arrow, man, get your freaking Arrow, man. It's freaking cool. So anyways, I'm going to close it out with that. Next week is theme week, alternative cuts week. Look forward to that. And as always, man, we're in the preseason mode. So as always, man, we just freaking end these things off with Go Bills.